Hola, hola. Hola, hola. Ahora sí. Bueno. Buenos días para todos.
Good morning. I'm seeing a lot of people from the development team. I don't know whether you're waiting for me to make a special announcement today. I see Nicolás over there too. My name is Ignacio Roqueta. I work in art tech for 14 years already, more or less. I work in the development team, specifically in the Java generator. And just as Anna said that she was not going to talk about technicalities, I won't be doing it either. I will be talking about my personal experience. The story goes that 1 year ago, we had our first bits ready for the smart device generator. We were more or less in our beta 2 of Evolution 2, and I thought it could be a good idea that in my free time I could start building applications for smart devices for my personal use, for end users. So, in the last year, we built around 8 applications that we gradually uploaded to the different stores. So the idea of this is to be able to show you some of those applications and tell you about the learnings, the successes, and maybe some of the errors that we had along the way. The first application that I did was an absolutely innovative and revolutionary application. It was an application for movie titles. Precisely that was the idea. It was about building something that was easy and something that could allow me to learn, because I needed to learn about smart devices development. In those days, everybody around me went nuts. Basically because I didn't know anything about it, and secondly because we were in beta 2, so we had a lot of mistakes that we needed to correct. I gradually built the application, it was ready, and at a certain point I showed it to Nicolás, and he said, maybe this application, maybe you should show it to Victor, who's one of the directors of Montevideo.com, and one of the sites that he has is called cartelera.com.uy. So that's what I needed in order to be able to polish my application. I needed a website. So this is what my first application looked like. Basically, what it has is a list of movie titles with the different scores or ratings that people give to that movie, comments from people, information of the different theaters where the movie will be shown. It was ready, and the next step was to publish this. This had been made for iPhone, an iPhone 3G, which was the device I had, and Victor said, it's okay, upload it, but you need to do it in Android because I use Android. So we did so. And then we published the application in the different environments. And the Android store was called Android Market. Now it's called WorldPlay. They changed the name. And the Apple store is the Apple store as usual. In order to be able to publish applications in those stores, you need to have an account in both stores. And here is where I saw the main difference between these two stores, which is that even though in both cases, in order to publish an application, you need to register, become a user, and you're required to provide certain data, In both cases, you need to pay. Android makes you pay $25 just once. And from then on, you can upload as many applications for the rest of your life. Apple makes you pay $99 a year, which is quite an important difference. Once the application is there, you get to iTunes Connect, for example. It requires a series of data, binary data, descriptions, screenshots for the users to be able to see it, some icons. So it's quite similar in terms of what we're required from both stores. But there's a main difference, which is that in the case of Android, when I conclude all that publication process and I hit the button, my application is immediately published in the stores for users to download. In the case of Apple, when I hit the button, publish the application comes into a sort of state which is called waiting for review. What does this mean? That each of the applications we upload, Apple needs to review it and to consider it worthy of being published in its store. That status, waiting for review, is quite a long time because there's someone who is accepting each of the applications that will be further uploaded. That takes an average of 2 or 3 weeks depending on the time of the year. By the end of the year, it takes more. And once those 2 weeks go by, the application gets to a status which is called in review, which means that someone is reviewing the application, and maybe that takes 1 day or a couple of hours on average, and then they deem whether the application will be published or not. So we went through the process. We didn't have any problems. The application was released and published. And after you publish an application, you really need to know how it is doing. You start commenting on Facebook, sending Twitters, and you want to know how it is doing. The way of knowing this, the most natural way, is to see how it is ranking, both in the Apple Store ranking and in the Android market. Both of them have category rankings and general rankings for applications, where you can see the applications that are most popular or are best rated. Then the algorithm that you have for determining how an application is uploaded in the different rankings. This has not been revealed, neither in the case of Apple nor Android. What is certain that this is not only due to the amount of downloads. This is important, but we also take into account the number of downloads that are made together. Also, the use of the application, they know when we use it and when we open it and when we close it. And also the number of comments that the application has. All those things are very important when it comes to improving your ranking. This is a real story. No sooner than we had released the application, it was already in a first place in its category, which is entertainment, and it was ranking third in the general ranking of all the applications in the market. This is a market for Uruguay, of course. This is not a worldwide market. Besides, there's no worldwide market. They're all divided by countries. And at the second day, the application was ranking first. It was the hottest application of the moment. It was an application I had developed without knowing anything about this, which really encouraged me to continue building applications. The second application that I built, and the reason why I did it, well, for this I will have to tell you what a typical day in my life is. I get up, I brush my teeth, I start doing 500 push-ups every day. Yeah, you can see how good I look. And I go to my computer and I start reading Decano.com, which is the Nacional Soccer Team website. Decano.com is a site for all the fans of the soccer team called Nacional, which is the best team in Uruguay, as we all know. And my idea was to have the application in my phone so that I didn't have to log on from my computer. I could already read it in my phone. Decano.com has news from the Nacional Club, soccer club, and you can read all the comments that are posted by fans. So you discuss what the match was like, how your team played, if we lose, which doesn't happen very often. So what I did was, before doing this, I talked to the people from Decano.com and I asked them, are you interested in having an application for an iPhone? What did they answer? We have no money for this. No, I said, don't worry, this will be given for free. For free? Yes, because I'm a fan of this club. So yes, then go ahead. So we started doing this. This is what it looked like. It has a part of main news, and then you have some history, and then there are other screenshots as well. When we had the application ready, I showed it to Hodai. He didn't like it as much as the other one, but he said that it would be good to show the application in the GeneXus event, the event from last year. The idea was to show the application in his final presentation and announce that it would be released so that people could download it. But 3 weeks before the event, I concluded the application. I uploaded it to the Apple Store. I did it only for iPhone then. We waited, the waiting for review process, but 2 days before the event, the application went into the in-review process. We were very happy, but then 2 hours afterwards, the application was rejected. So with Willie and Fabian, we said, well, the application was rejected. Why was it rejected? I was asked. Section 4, number 2, letter A. See, the application is very similar to a website. That's what they said. Yes, it is similar to a website. That's what we wanted. I would have rather have them tell us that an icon was missing or something like that, because we really intended it to be similar to a website. So they said to us, you should analyze doing it in HTML5. I really couldn't believe this. So we said, what can we do? So we answered to that rejection somehow. We said, yes, it's similar to a website. That was the idea. But it has many native controls that give a better user experience to the end user, who would prefer to have it like this than if it was done in HTML5. We sent that. The event started. We received no reply. I don't know if you were with Hodal last year. We showed this presentation. We said it was going to be released, but 2 days after the event, the application was accepted. They never give any reasons. They just say yes or not, or for sale. This happened with several applications as well. Sometimes they're rejected for similar reasons. So you should always try to respond to the email that you receive from them, because many times they end up telling you that you're right. This application, once again, ranked first among all the applications in the store. Not just the ones in its category. But of course, this is not something that can be endured on a long-term basis. But the application is still ranking first in its sports category. There's another one that's second there, which is the Peñarol Soccer Club. But they were actually happy to be ranked second, because that's what they usually are. Even though the application was not built in iOS, the users of Decano.com asked us to have the application in Android. So we built it for Android. You can imagine what Victor said and what people were requesting to have the application built in Android. How difficult could this have been if I didn't have GeneXus for this? And GeneXus is just very little effort. The application is very successful in terms of the comments that it has. I think it has around 128 comments. Of course, all these comments are posted by the fans of the soccer club, so they are always positive. The people from Android tend to post more comments than the people from iOS. I don't know the reason for this, but that happens with every application. Some considerations regarding comments. Comments are very important. You will see that in most applications, even though people have a mechanism for sending an email to developers and they say I had an error in this application, you might take a look at this is not working well and this is my phone. No. Very few people do that. Mostly they just give you 1 star. This is bullshit. And you as a developer, you have no way of answering to this, or trying to contact the one who posted the negative comment in order to know what really happened with that application. That's an important problem. But if someone posts a 1-star comment and you think that it's not fair, sometimes Peñarol fans posted comments here and they started putting very negative comments. So what you can do there is go to Apple and say this comment was posted in the wrong way. And if they think that you are right, it might be eliminated. This is something that actually happened to us, and this can be done. Then, regarding comments, I really don't know if people read them or not, or if they are considered very important by people. Jodal told me that in his case, in the case of Peso Book, at a certain moment they had a problem because they uploaded a version of the application where charts were not working well, and they started receiving 1-star negative comments that said, well, this is not working well. And he noticed that from those comments on, the application was not being so much downloaded. And when that was solved, then the application got back to its previous rhythm, or it was being more and more downloaded. In my personal case, I built an application that had direct competition, and that had many 1-star comments. It was a paid application, and people saying this is a ripoff, this application is worthless. But on this next day, people used to say the same. And I thought, why didn't you read the other comment? So there are both sides to this story. Some people tend to think that these comments are not read, and other people tend to think that these comments are very important in the way they influence people. 2 applications, both of them in ranking first. So we said, let's continue to do this. So we decided to do a 3rd application. For this, I wanted to basically try a new feature that we had, which was sending notifications. It was a relatively simple thing in order to be able to test notifications so that they could be further used in a more complex application. Basically, this is something that shows the flights of the Carrasco Airport. Ana said that this is not good. This is showing the official application, even though this is not the official application of the airport per se. Here you see flight information, and you can subscribe to a flight, and from the moment that flight changes status, you start receiving notifications. If Pluna is dead, it shouldn't be there because it was already sold. So you receive notifications on the flight status. In terms of this application, we did quite well. It ranked first in the travel category. It didn't reach the first position in the general category, but it was among the top 5 for quite a long time. So here we said we built 3 applications and we did well in all 3. So let's continue. Let's move on. Let's build a paid application. Let's try to get some money out of this. As Sima said, It's always very important to see the store rankings, to see which applications are considered hot, or to see what the design is like, etc. I am a fan of this. I'm always trying to look which applications are ranking first so that I can download them, and in order to see what people are trying to get. By that time, we were having the South American soccer playoffs, and I noticed that one ranked first in many countries, and I downloaded this application, and it wasn't really good. It was not good at all, and all the comments from the application were negative. This application is crap, I've been ripped off, etc. So I said, I'm going to build a playoff application so it will be ranked first, because this one is so bad. So this is how we did on our way to Brazil 2014. It was already too late because the first and second matches had already been played. In this time, the matches have a very special feature because matches tend to be played in twos. So I had some time left in order to build my application. The application is very simple. It shows the results of the matches, the fixture, the ranking of all the teams. And this has something special, which is that it gives you results on real time. If someone scores a goal, you will see that such and such a team scored a goal. If there's a yellow card, you can see everything that happens on the matches. And there you have them. So the third round of matches was about to begin. Where's the lady that's showing how many minutes I have left for my presentation? 3 weeks before the matches were set to begin, we uploaded the application to the store. 1 week before the matches, this was rejected. Once again, the application had been rejected. But this time, this was because we had built an icon and a logo for the application where we had written the FIFA World Cup. And we were told the FIFA World Cup is a registered logo, and if you don't have the rights for using it, you cannot use it. And of course, we didn't have any rights for that, any copyrights. We just grabbed it and put it there. So we had to build a new logo. But if I upload this, I will have to wait another 2 weeks, and I won't be able to upload this before the matches are actually played, which was a crucial time when we needed it. Fabian told me that actually you can ask Apple just for once to make an exception and to take a look at the application before a certain date, because you need to upload the application before a certain date for a specific reason. So we did so. We changed the logo, but we said we need the application to be ready before a certain time. And that went well. On the same day of the third match, the application was already on air. All this thing started a whole debate within the development team. We knew how we had done with numbers in free applications. We knew that most applications were Uruguayan. This was for Latin America, and it was a paid application. And there's an important difference between a paid application and a free application for people. It's much more difficult for someone to click on a paid application. And besides, this was meant for a South American audience. And people in South America don't pay as much as people in the U.S. So we thought that maybe a couple of thousand people would download the application. And then there were less optimistic people, among them Nicolas Rodal, who said, if you get 100 downloads, then you will have to consider yourself satisfied. But I didn't like that. So I said, let's make a bet. You say, I say 2,000 downloads, and you say 100. Let's settle for more than 500. So I said, if I get more than 500 downloads before the first round of matches, you will have to pay lunch for all the development team. Otherwise, I will be the one who pays. So the first matches were played. We almost got to the 500 downloads at that time. And here you can see the testimony. Jodal always complains that precisely on that day, we decided to have salmon for lunch. So it was very expensive. No one ever eats salmon here, which is very expensive. But on that day, all of us did. Okay. Here, you can have another picture of our lunch. And I was really feeling good on that day because I had obtained the 500 downloads before I had expected. So I promised something that I should have never promised. But promises are promises. This wasn't a bet. This was a promise. And I said, if I get to 2,000 downloads, I will pay lunch for all the development team. And I never said that if we got to those 2,000 downloads, because it's very difficult to determine that. We were expecting for some official instance to announce that, yes, I'm announcing that we will be paying for that lunch. We already reached that 2,000 download milestone. There are 2 days for this lunch. One is Thursday and the other one is on 2nd January. Those days were randomly picked. It doesn't have, it's not related to the fact that on those 2 days, no one from the development team is present. For the 5th and 4th date, we decided to totally change the design of the application. When you have paid applications, especially, you need to add things to the application so that people feel that you're always constantly attending their needs. So here we changed the aesthetic of the application, and we started to add data we didn't have. For example, pictures of players, data of players, stats from the different teams. We had an exclusive design for iPad that we didn't have before, where you can show all the information from the match on a single screen. You have information of all the teams, all the players. And for each player, you have all the different instances they had during the playoffs, where you can see what happened in a certain match. After each match, we upload all the different goals that were scored. For other matches, we decided to upload the Android application, but we decided to do it for free in the case of Android. Why? For many reasons. Because you cannot put an Android application in Uruguay that's paid. You can do it in Argentina, but not in Uruguay, because the people from Android are not used to paying for applications. And third, because we wanted to have a huge number of downloads so that it became more popular, and when two friends meet and one sees that the other one has it, then it would encourage other people for downloading it. And we also included notifications. What does this mean? That every time a goal is scored, you will receive a notification in your cell phone. And this, if the guy is not using the application, he will see that a goal has been scored, and then he can click on it and see it directly on the application. So by this, I am remembering people to use this application. Here, this is how we did with this application. You can see there that it ranked first in most sports ranking categories in the countries that are playing in the soccer playoffs. And it was among the top 5 of paid applications in those countries. I wanted to talk a little bit about Applizer that provides additional information. Please, there's a break now. I'm told that I have to finish, but I will continue a little bit more. We also did quite well in terms of comments. People liked the application, unlike our competition. But there's something that proves that the application was successful. If someone knows what this is Cydia. This is an application that's used on the iPhone that's used for downloading cracked applications. This application was cracked. So you can download it for free if you have the corresponding crack in the Cydia phone. This was a source of concern for us at the beginning, but after thinking about this, the people who use cracked applications rarely download a paid application. So maybe this can even help us, because someone who downloaded it after cracking it, maybe that person shows it to another one, and that another one is convinced of downloading it and paying for it. Since we realized about this, almost 8,000 people downloaded this in the crack form. That wouldn't mean like $8,000. What we did was to build a paid application for the Latin America store, and we did well. We made money out of this. So we thought if we make a paid application for the U.S. market, maybe we will be able to buy a new car. So that was our bet, to make a paid application in English for the American market. This is the first application we decided to invest some money, and we paid a designer. We hadn't worked with designers yet, so we made a nice application. There's a bar over there, but actually you will see all the drinks that you can see, all the different drinks in that bar. It's a very simple application. It's a database for different types of drinks that you have, popular cocktails, what beverages are used for those cocktails. You can see a part where you have a bar with different beverages and cocktails, and it can suggest what cocktails you can make at home. There's a list of cocktails. This is how the information is displayed. For example, in the case of vodka, you can see how you can add it to the bar. And there you have the list of drinks. We uploaded the application. It was accepted in the market. So we said, let's start receiving the money. 1 day, 2 days, and it didn't appear. No rankings. 1 week afterwards, we were desperate. There were some coupons, and whenever you make an application, Apple gives you 50 coupons, and you can give them for free so that people can download it for free. We decided to give those coupons out, and the application was a complete failure, We offered it for free, and it wasn't being downloaded either. So I think that here we made many mistakes. First was to think that since we had done well with the applications we had done for free in Uruguay, where the market is much smaller, we would do well in the U.S. market. And that's a complete mistake, because the Uruguayan market is very small, and any application you might do for the Uruguayan market, it will be downloaded just because of the fact that there are not many applications in this market. Same thing with the application on our way to Brazil. We made an application for the South American market. And besides, I did it for soccer, which is one of the passions that we have in the South American market. We thought that alcohol, the liquor, was also a passion for the U.S. market, but we were wrong. And the name for this was Let's Cheers. So it was a mistake in terms of the title, because it means nothing in English. All the applications are called My Drinks, iCocktail. And if you start looking an application for drinks, those are the keywords that you use. If the keyword is in the name, then it's much better because the application will appear first. So it was a complete failure. Now, very quickly, I will talk about our experience in the challenge. This will be very quick. If you were not present in Anna's presentation, she mentioned that we had a challenge within the development team where each could build an application. We had a certain time in order to have the number of downloads, and the one who won would receive an iPad. So we decided to build this application, which is a daily horoscope application. These are very simple applications that provide information on each horoscope. If there is a match, a sort of matchmaker, a feature there that you can get different women, and if you, for example, if you choose a women and you want you want them to be from Aries, then it will give you tips on how to seduce them. We were able to build this application before our colleagues had it ready. So we started receiving downloads before the others. And our colleagues here, some people decided to build applications in English in order to reach a wider market, and others just built applications in Spanish in order to appeal to the Latin market. And other people decided to aim at the community. Daniel Mendez aimed at the Uruguayan Peñarol community, and it was a good decision. Then we had My Car Gallery, and then the application from Peñarol appeared, and it was the best of all. It was very hard for me because precisely the one from Peñarol. But there was another application, it was a jokes application, which had been developed by Christian. And when the Peñarol application started beating us all, we decided to take action in order to try to recover and gain advantage. So what we did, we built the application for Android in order to obtain more downloads. We were not lucky. What Christian did was to have jokes translated into English. And Christian was doing very well in the Spanish market. And I said, Christian, wait a minute. I'm going to give you a tip because I just didn't want the Peñarol application to win. So I said, use Nitro. What is that? Do you know the Nitro for Speed game? When you are playing that game, you receive, remember all the tricks that you had in that game? Of course, this was used for a very small space of time, but maybe he could use that for his application. Do you see the jokes application? And all those peaks are when he applied all the Nitro tricks that I mentioned. The application is good, but he won because he used the trick that I suggested. So you need to give me half of your iPad, Christian. Basically, what is this Nitro trick? You offer the application paid for one day, and the next day you offer it for free. What does that give you? There are certain applications which are called APP for free, where you see all the applications that were paid and now it's free. And when people see that, they think that they need to download it because they're being given something extra. Those are very popular in Spain. He did very well in Spain. He received more than 500 downloads per day in Spain.